What's up, guys? This is Shako, and I'm back with another episode of Supermen Talk. Right? So, guys, I'm doing something a little bit different this time. I'm doing a episode that is called "Spotting Red Flags and Potential Red Flags." Right? This is just to help people and for educational purposes only. So, check me out, guys, and let me know what you think in the comments.
What's good? What's good? What's good, good people? This is Shako, and I'm back with another episode of Supermen Talk. And this is going to be a quick one right here.
It's difficult for an adult to be obedient to another adult. You usually see that in the military, where it's rank and file, where it's look. And even there's an implied understanding that those giving orders are not putting those taking orders in harm's way.
Correct.
The same thing with your children. There's an implied understanding that you're not going to do things to get your kid killed.
Correct.
You're not going to tell your kid to do things to get killed. You're going to tell them things to do to not get killed.
Yes.
To be able to grow up and be an adult person.
Correct.
And that's why it's imperative that they not question you or you don't have to explain it. That's why every human being ever has learned one word the same way. You know what word that is?
What's that?
Hot.
That's true, because then
You don't know what hot is until you... And you see a 2-year-old when they first... They be telling you, hot, hot, hot. They tell anybody who will listen, hot. That shit is hot. Because there's an understanding now. And then they started to get it. Maybe I should listen to you because you told me that was hot.
I know, I found
Yeah,
it.
you were right. I love you. Okay? Submission is between willing adults. Submission is consensual. Let's break it down into like BDSM. That's why they have safe words, because it is very rough and aggressive, and if the person feels that it's getting outside of their bounds of being pleasurable or entertaining, they say the safe word and everything ceases. Okay? But there's a willingness, there's a consensual agreement that I'm going to do everything you tell me to do. And guess what? Men like that. They might not necessarily want to put you in a dog collar or beat you or put the rings on you or put clamps on you.
Bruh.
We don't have no supervisor right now, but that's not even the point. But men learn through age and maturity and wisdom. That's why you see men pick differently as they get older and mature. Is because they understand eventually you can't trust a woman that won't submit to you.
Ooh, so we've got a request here. Our sponsor, Sterling Sage, sent a request, and when your sponsor sends a request to go live, you accept it. So we're going to go in with our sponsor. Hello to everyone's joining. So our question tonight is, submission powerful? Hey! If you want to introduce yourself to the folks.
Hey everyone, Joanne from Sorrel and Sage here. I just wanted to pop on really quickly because I have to go to Walmart, but I wanted to hop on because Rob said something really important, and Shiva and I have talked about the notion of submission and how submission as a woman is actually a really powerful thing. So I'm going to quickly tell a story, and then I'm going to piggyback on Rob's point. So when I lived in Montreal, I was actually dating someone, and that relationship continued while I lived in Montreal. And he was the very first person I'd ever met who was dominant, who let me be submissive. So Shiva and I have always talked about meeting guys who just let you steamroll willy-nilly all over them. And those are not the guys that I've ever really had a lasting attraction to. Because if you let me and my personality run wild, I'm going to go. And for me, that was always an unattractive thing. It's like, in my head, I would do something and be like, why are you letting me do this?
Bruh.
Like, say something. Say no. Put a foot down. Whatever. Oh, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. No, ruffle some feathers.
Bruh.
Please. Some feathers, please. Because that is how you learn. So I met this guy just before I moved to Montreal. And I remember our first date was at the Four Seasons. And he was already waiting for me when I got there. And we had a great time. We only did drinks. And it was a very, like, getting to know you type thing. But there was an immediate attraction. And so at the end of the night, we spent maybe 2 or 3 hours, and he had to go. He was an actor. And he had a show. He was in Toronto for a stage production. And so he had to go because he had a curtain call early in the morning. And he was leaving, and he gave me a hug. And I was like, he's like, I hope you don't mind the hug. And I was like, oh, that's okay, because I don't kiss on the first date anyway. And he kind of looked at me, and he gave me this smile. And I remember this. He took my hand, and he pulled me close. Like, he pulled me into him. And he's like, I'll make the decision when our first kiss will be.
Oh, girl, I'm sorry, my dumped.
Like, right
Bruh.
in my ear, he's like, I'll make the decision. Had my hand like this, pulled it to him, and pulled me in close. He's like, I'll make the decision as to when our first kiss will be. And I was like,
Girl, trust me.
okay. And from there, we entered into this relationship. Now, I do have to make the distinction. It was a sexually submissive, dominant relationship.
For you guys that haven't learned to listen to the details, do so, because this lady and women uses the term relationship very loosely. All right. So understand, just because you have a sexual encounter doesn't mean it was a relationship. Just because it lasted 6 weeks, 6 months, or a year or two, it just means it was a fuck buddy or a fuck thing or a booty call that lasted longer than what you probably expected. That's all.
But also a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a circumstantial sub-dom. And I realized one thing about having that dynamic, 3 things. I always wanted to be with someone who I felt was as smart or smarter than me. Because you're not going to learn anything from anybody who you don't perceive as intelligent. Number 1. Number 2, Rob's point. He never put me in harm's way. Ever. Ever. And I mean, you know, as a dom sub in the physical realm, you get yourself in some situations, and yes, there was a safe word. But he never, whether it's crossing the street, whether it was, you know, leaving the house late at night, followed me to my car, like all of those little things that we think are a courtesy that men should do, he made sure they were always done. Number 3, he was not an emotional firecracker. So he never gave in to his emotions. And I'm not saying that he couldn't be vulnerable around me. I'm not saying that he couldn't, you know, tell me deepest, darkest secrets. I'm
Bruh.
not saying any of that. But when the time came, there was no, what the blood clot, blah, blah, blah. Like, he controlled his temper. I always knew when he was mad. I always knew when he was displeased, because it was a look, because it was the twitching of the jaw, because it was a certain change in the atmosphere. And I always knew when I'd stepped over the line. Stepped over the line. I always knew it. I could run my mouth, and there would be a point where you'd be like, Joanne. And then that was it. And then I knew, once I got the look, I was like, crap. And I knew, right? The 4th thing was generous of spirit, of time. Not necessarily money. It doesn't, like, he would give me gifts every now and then, but it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about any of that, but it was his time. He gave me his time. His time was a gift to me, and I, in turn, made sure that I let him know how much I appreciated that time. So I did things like I said, he was an actor. He was on stage 6 days a week. He had 1 day off. So I'd do things like iron his clothes. I would do things like get his dinner ready. I would do things like set the table, which are things that I do anyway. But with him, it was like, I need to make sure that this man's life is easy. Be his peace, because he brought me a lot of peace in the way that he carried himself. I never had to worry about him making me look foolish. I remember we went to a Christmas party, and he knows his limit. He wasn't a big drinker either. He had 2 gin and tonics. And he sat in the corner and he smiled. And I was like, are you good? He's like, oh, baby, I'm great. He goes, but make sure I don't have anything else. He goes, because I'm about to act a fool off these gin and tonics. But it was like knowing his limits, knowing his boundaries, all of those things. I remember he met my friends, and he made sure he remembered everybody's name. He remembered little details about them. He'd be like, okay, so I'm going to meet Toshiba and Rob today. So Toshiba is the one that what? And Rob does this. And then he would make sure. You know what I mean? Like, he was a man. Like, a man. And that relationship, it was about 7 or 8 months, and then he had to move back to New York. And that was hard, because I knew that I had met someone very special. And those are kind of the benchmarks I look at now. Like, how do you carry yourself? How do we traverse this world together? How do I make your life better? How do you make my life better? How am I going to make you look? How are you going to make me look? Right? Are we working as a unit, or are we working, as Rob said, independently? Are we working autonomously and together, or are we working independently? And his thing was always, it's you and me, baby. Like, whatever he did, wherever he went, whatever it was, it's you and me, baby. Right? And we did talk about future, and there were a couple other things. I couldn't move to New York, and that was the big thing. That was the factor that ended our relationship. I couldn't move to New York. But it was definitely something that left an impression, right? And when people talk about submission, they usually think about, leather whips and chains and all that, which is a good Friday night, as far as I'm concerned, which is a fantastic time on a Friday night, but it's not going to happen with just any Joe Schmo. That's right. It is going to happen with somebody who has those benchmarks, who has those qualities, right? And I find sometimes, like, I know women, I have friends who are married, and they submit to their husbands, and I'm like, what are you submitting to this ding-dong for?
Not the ding-dong.
The ding-dong. Right? So it's looking for those levels. And a woman who knows herself is not just going to give her control to a ding-dong.
She wants to be led, but not led.
Because it's not blind submission, right? And there's a difference between understanding the value of the man that you have, and again, Rob commands it. He doesn't demand it. There's a difference. His presence commands it.
And that's another thing.
His presence, and you're not just like, okay.
It's innate. And that was the other thing about this gentleman. Same thing. He would walk into a room. He was 6'2". He was handsome, beautiful build, everything about him, but also very charming, and not and effortlessly so, right? It didn't feel like it was forced. It didn't feel like he was making people try to like him. You just did. He sat in a corner, and people would just be like, do I know you? Are you? Can I?
Every room we enter.
Right? And I love that, because the other thing too, it allowed me to step back into a role where I'm comfortable. I like observing. Right? I like watching and seeing how the couple over there is interacting, or how the single lady at the bar is sitting. I like to know that, I'm looking at Rob and Toshiba across the room, and Rob's drink is almost done, so if I'm hosting a party, I'm going to go, and I'm going to tend to Rob, hey, Rob, you need to top up. I'm going to let my man, in his glory, do his thing, socialize and network and do all of the other things. And I may be in the background going, well, that's Rob and Toshiba, and they're the CEOs of Stevenson Worldwide, so you need to know that XYZ, and they're about to sign a deal, and don't you know someone who can do this and that? And be like, okay, good. Maybe Google on his phone really quickly and be like, hey, Rob, how are you? You know what I mean?
And how powerful is that?
And it was...
How valuable are you as a partner, as a significant other, as a wife in that fight?
Empowering, because it felt like we...
And see what you're listening to. You're listening to women speak their truth, right? Now, I'm not going to say anything too much about the brother, but I don't know, man. They say he's an alpha male. I guess alpha maleness is in the perception, just like beauty is in the perception of the beholder, right? But I'm listening to these two women communicate between one another, right? These women are talking about their alpha male, right? And you can hear the confusion in women. Listening to women talk, it's like being a fly on the wall, right? And them not knowing you there, right? You listen to how discombobulated their thoughts are. You listen to how they have no structure and no order in how the process of thinking is. That's why I say in the video that I put out on my YouTube channel, the Superman Talk, that's why I say that it's very dangerous for us men to be dating new age women in this day and time that we live in. It's very dangerous, man. And look at this woman at the top with her alpha male, right? With her alpha male. See, these women are worried about the beauty. You got to listen to the key talking points. Women are talking, they talk very soft, they show their teeth, they show their smile, they show their face, their hair is in place, they got their cleavage out. So it's like a magic trick when you're listening to a woman talk. You're missing all the key points. It's like a magician doing a trick. You know, you're looking at it, you just didn't see it. You saw it, but you didn't see it. You hear it from these women, but you didn't hear it because you're too busy looking at their face. You're too busy looking at their eyes, their smile, their lips. You're not directly lusting, but you indirectly lusting, right? You're looking at this woman cleavage, and other thoughts are going through your head. She's sitting here with this man. He's not that vocal, right? These other two women are more vocal than him. He's more calm, which is good to be calm. It's good to be have a presence in the room without saying a whole lot. That is good. But what you're missing, if you haven't noticed, for the men or the women hasn't noticed, or you might have noticed, but you are failing to admit because you are this woman and you are that man that allows these type of women to sit center stage before you, right? First of all, you know, you might say this is old-fashioned or more traditional, but a woman that really loves her man and really adores her man and sees him as a protector, right? You don't never have to sit in front of your man. You know, it don't matter how beautiful you are. It don't matter how much of eye candy you are. That's what men are getting wrong. I gotta get a beautiful woman, and now they're in this conundrum where they gotta defend their woman all the time because their woman. What you see a woman doing, almost walking ahead of the man, right? And she's dressed very sexual. Either she's have fitted jeans or pants on where it's showing her thighs and her the shape of her ass, the crease of her ass, right? It's showing the gap between her legs because the pants are so tight. Also, it's showing the women are showing their cleavage. They're showing how big their breasts are, you know, and that's what this woman is revealing, her cleavage and a lot of it, right? And for what? If you're confident and you have the man that you want, what is the purpose for you to reveal your cleavage, right? And then you hear women come up with a lot of shit, a lot of lies, a lot of things to say to throw you off. That's their job. They're full of confusion. They rebelled against their dad. They rebelled against if they had a righteous or good mom, a modest mother, then they rebelled against their mother because most women, you look at the image in the background on their TV, man. You know, remember earlier in the talking points, she was talking. I could have explained this through when they was talking, guys, but I didn't want to stop and pause, play and pause, play and pause, play and pause, right? I wanted you to hear in the majority of what they was going at, right? So you know, you had about 30 minutes of their conversation, and so this is what women are expressing. They are moved. When she said earlier, "Oh, it made my pum pum jumped." The one at the top with her man. Now to say that in front of your man, that let me know that you are more dominant than your man. Because there's supposed to be a level of fear there. Not fear that he'll hit you, but it's supposed to be a level of fear to disrespect him. Because you honor him, because you adore him. Now they just got through talking about respect and all this goes on, all this here, right? But how do you respect your man? By sitting there with your cleavage and you're doing gestures, moving your arms. You don't have to do all those arm movements to show that you agree with somebody, but you want people to see that your cleavage is jumping. That's all part of the attraction, right? See, to me, in my eyes, I'm not saying this is my opinion, right? We all got an opinion, just like these ladies have an opinion, just like this man got an opinion, just like other YouTubers, just like other people in the world, just like other beings in the world. We all got an opinion, but the opinion should come from experience and what is currently going on in the world. And when you look at what's going on in the world versus the experiences, not just you are having, but majority of people are saying that they're having, then you can do your own math, have your own common sense, because you have discernment to be able to decipher what you're hearing and what you're looking at, right? This woman is more dominant than that man. Yeah, he might be a strong and powerful and athletic man. All that is beside the goddamn point. This woman is more dominant. She's more mouthy. Both of them are more mouthy. This one at the bottom, that's talking about she got to go to Walmart. She talking about how she had this beautiful man. He's 6'2", how attractive he was, and how he commands the room when he walks in. And she just like to sit back and wonder, you know what I'm hearing? As a man that never had a problem getting a woman, man. Never had a problem fucking women. Pussy is easy to acquire. All you got to do is kind of get into the mind of the woman, compliment her here and there, be confident in who you are, be somewhat of a looker. You don't have to be the ace boom coon in attraction, but you just got to be somewhat attractive, right? With a confidence, with knowing how to style yourself just right, I'm telling you, you can acquire any woman. I just heard this other guy on YouTube. He was saying he's going to tell you how to acquire women, how to get women, because when he was young, he wasn't able to get women, right? His video, because I have it in my analytics, it was saying videos that are referencing or suggesting videos, you know, and then their videos was in there. So I don't know really exactly how it's suggesting it, but anyway, their videos was in the list of the suggestions of the videos that were suggesting my video, right? So for you guys that are more experienced in the YouTube and the analytics of it, you know what that means. But anyway, I looked at his video and he was saying he was going to get basically like a tutorial on how to get women. Man, that's the fucking problem. Stop trying to get women. Stop chasing the pussy. That is the snare for men. Men are working hard, working themselves to the bone, blood, sweat, and tears. You know, hopefully it's not tears, guys, but, you know, I understand blood and sweat because we work hard, we cut ourselves, we injure ourselves, and we move on and keep it pushing to bring home, as they call it back in the day, the bacon. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully you're not eating bacon, guys. I'm eating, but I also will put out a video about the bacon and also what has been found out in Missouri, what they're doing about the pig, what was caught in with the pigs and people in Missouri. But anyway, back to what I was saying. This woman at the bottom, she's talking about how the man commands the room. She's full of, see, these women are talking from, oh, it made my poom poom jump. The woman at the top, the lady at the bottom, talking about how the man commands the room and how people are like, ooh, do I know you know, motherfucker? Because these women are talking to him because that's a segue to try to flirt, to try to see where his mind is at, to try to see if you know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. You people be meeting up, trying to see about getting business, getting money and money switching hands and stuff like that. Yeah, see, the people never had problems with getting money. Once we start to communicate and to do business, especially with one another, then the shit gets sneaky and the shit becomes very lustful and it becomes within a lot of sin, right? Because then now people are sleeping with one another, husbands and wives, and it becomes orgies and money is passing into other people's hands, and favors are getting done for sexual favors and turning people on to people in the industry that can do more favors. And see, this is where you guys have to, men have to learn how to sacrifice wanting to be in the limelight, have to sacrifice wanting to always to acquire money. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be careful who you allow in your life as your wife, as your lady, as your fiance, as the person that you're courting, because those 9.5 or 9 3/4 out of 10, be the people that are putting your life almost like a damn handler like they use in Hollywood. There are handlers, people to keep you locked into the program, to keep you away from your true potential, keep that hidden. And now let's give them a lot of pussy. Girl, whenever, I see I'm losing control, then I'm going to come in and I'm going to just say, baby, maybe we should bring somebody else in, because I don't want to lose you. Now you think this woman is doing you a favor because she's allowing you to have sex with her friend or her cousin or some of them their sister and their mother. Yes, I know because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of this shit go on and you don't hear this shit talked about. See, a lot of these YouTube channels, man, is light work. It's light work. It's all to make you smile. It's all to put a smile on your face. It's all to make you say, yeah, yes. I hate that when the motherfuckers do that. Oh, yes, shit. Alpha males are more relaxed, women go, and I'm not saying it's not good to have a man that works out. I work out. I'm off and on with it. I would like to work out more, but I have a lot of more pressing matters at hand, like making sure that I get out a lot of this stuff that God is putting on my spirit to put forth for those who may have eyes to see, right? But I'm not saying this beautiful people, man, that you're looking at now. But the mind can become corrupt when you're chasing the fucking bag and when you're chasing beauty. Let's get back to what they were saying.
We're doing something together, right? Like we were on our trajectory together. And again, even though it ended,
you notice she's using the term we were together. We were, W-E-R-E, were. That means that they not together no more, or they were off and on. And you got to ask yourself, if this man was the man that commanded the room, if this man was the most beautiful, if you had submitted to this man, because the title of their video is submission power, and she was talking about how submission is power, but she's using a lot of term as in past tense terminology, words.
it made such an impact on my brain because I'm like, this is where I need to aspire to.
Past tense, meaning that this was a fling, a sexual encounter, not a relationship that just so happened to expand over the course of 7-8 months. And a lot of times when people have the hots for each other, they are super physically attracted to each other, but they do not share each other's spaces emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, mentally, physically. It's for the simple fact that they both know that this is just a sex thing, and they know that it's going to come to an end. That's it, and that's all. Nothing more. It was no more than a sexual encounter. This was not a relationship. Made an impact. Made, M-A-D, past tense.
Like, this is where I need to be. And this is who I am in a relationship. Like, I finally figured it out, dating ding-dongs. And dating ding-dongs and all these people who never quite understood me and what it was that I was trying to accomplish.
Well, how the hell they didn't understand you? You were the very same person say that you would do things and then question yourself, why did I do it? Why did you let me do that? You're not going to tell me nothing? Come on, man. They speak in double tongues like a snake. They speak with a split tongue like a snake. But because of their beauty and because of the weakness of a man to always wanting to bust a nut, right? The weakness of a man and selling his soul for the sake of vagina. They do it and they get away with it and they're winning at it. But not with men like me. You men got to start standing on the truth of God so you guys can remain on the path or get on the path that God has created you to complete. See, the woman is the snare. Yes, she is the vessel to bring forth light, but she can be a snare if she's not in line with your word, which should be the word of God, right? But see, when you're just a man that's making up your own rules as you go, and you're not in line with the word of God, but now you have created a new word, and that new word, if it's not in line with God, then she can manipulate you at any given time because your word has no true power if it's not the word of God. Let's continue. Because the men has given their strength over to the pussy.
Because together it was a thing.
I used to say to people, the 3 words that matter to me the most are not "I love you," it's "I got you."
I got you.
I got you.
I got
And
you.
I sit here beside this man every single day knowing that he got me. And so, again, it's not blind submission.
No.
Submit to him because at the end of the day, I know he's going to lead us down the path. But just like you said, every move that's made, I'm in the background whispering to him about, okay, this and that.
Well, you're sure not in the damn background now. He's in the background, verbally and physically. You know what I'm saying? Guys, remember this. Pay attention with your eyes and your ears. That's what you got them for. Okay? It's good to run your mouth. It's good to explain experiences. It's good to share experiences, right? It's good to talk. But talking has no true power if it has no experience or no observation to back it. If that make any sense. Also, she's talking about this man backing her up, but or you being in the background and him being backing you up and all this here, but you're doing the talking. You know what I'm saying? As the leader should have the talking points, and the person that is waiting to be protected, waiting to be backed up, as she says, her 3 words are I got you and not I love you, then you should be just agreeing, because guess what? He got you. He should be doing the talking. He should be in the foreground and you should be in the background, because guess what? He got you, right? You don't need to do all that talking. You don't need to do that explaining, because he got you. This is where paying attention and noticing the details and what people say, their movements, where their eyes are going. It's not that you're interrogating them. It's that we're living in really, really dark and tricky times right now. If you don't do these necessary things beforehand, just giving everybody the benefit of the doubt that they're good, then you're going to find yourself between a very, 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 very hard and thick rock and hard plate. And you're going to be dealing with unnecessary problems that you don't have to deal with. So, you're going to notice a part here where she's going to be asserting her authority. And that's disrespectful, guys, right here. To even show this indention. To show this indention is giving you disobedience. You might say disobedient. Who's she disobedient to? I know not him. Yeah, that's she's disobedient to him. Because as a man, no man that loves his woman wants his woman to reveal her lady parts. No woman that loves her man wants to reveal her lady parts or give any other man, or woman for that matter, any idea or thought about her lady parts. So she's not even going to wear it, even to this point. But this 2 inches down where you can see damn near her stomach between her breasts. And then you're doing all these hand gestures here, opening. You want everybody. And I want you to know, watch how she positioned herself to sit a bit closer to him, but her direction is going to be going towards this way.
Now, Duke Nation is saying, do you think a lot of women have lost their ability to be submissive due to the fact that they are now making more money than some of the men they meet or date?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because
I think that's one of the biggest factors in that, is that they...
Now she's about to cut him off. She was about to, she asked a question that was posted on a live that they're doing, I guess.
This personally, I've literally heard I make more, so I should get to spend more. And obviously that relationship didn't last. And here's the thing, like, I don't even really think that's genuine, you know, if that's that hurt and that need to be right and whatnot, you know what I mean? Like, there's...
Now she's going to
Here's the thing,
try to stop him
like,
from clutching his groin area right here. Or maybe he had an itch. But she got enough nerve to do that,
Jen,
and she got all this out, right? And he hasn't mentioned nothing about this, not on camera.
you know, that's that hurt and that need to be right and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like there's no, I don't even really think that's genuine. You know, that's that hurt and that need to be right and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like there's no, okay.
First of all, let me say, there was no foundation of respect in that relationship if the money was the source of control, right? Money should never be a source of control in any relationship. And I think a lot of women think that being in a position where I am, where he's the breadwinner, and I support him and I submit to him, or whatever, you know, when we make the rounds and go viral, people think of the dynamic of our relationship. The interesting part is we've got equal power. And
Bruh.
at some point, I actually have more power in this relationship than any other relationship when I was making big dollars because of my influence.
That's why I say, guys, don't give woman the power of influence over your decision making, because it will make you weak. It will make you docile. It will make you lose time listening to her, trying to suggest, in more instances than a few, she will be trying to dictate to you what you should do and how you should do it. All in the name of what they were saying a lot earlier, of making you a better man. Now, what do a woman know about making a man a better man? She's not a man. She can't even make herself a better woman for the most part. Not saying this woman, I'm talking in general, and I'm not talking about all women. But most women cannot make themselves better women. As you learned, the question was pretty much, do you think woman has lost the ability to be submissive because she's make more than the man that she's dating or has dated? She can't even adjust to having a man make less than her. Even if he's good looking, she's sexually attracted to him, he's respectful, he truly loves her, as you heard the woman that called in earlier, or you heard her say right here on the screen, say, they're not looking for the 3-letter words, I love you. They want the 3-letter words, I got you, meaning that I can cover these damn bills. You know what I'm saying? Or what you need your hair done, I got you. Or what you need me to pay these bills, I got you. Or what you need some of the resources that I have so you can move ahead in your career, I got you. They can give a care less about the man loves her. And just sit back and let me run the show, and you enjoy the fruits of my labor. Women don't want that. That is the old woman, and that woman is long gone. I'm just saying, bro. But let's continue.
Final decision is his, but we come to and we sit down and we have this discussion and we weigh the pros and cons and we talk about the impact for both of us. But I always go, what is it for you? Because you're the one on the trajectory. You're the one on this track. You're the one on this thing. So what does it look like? What does it look like for you? And what adjustments do I have to make no matter what the decision is? Right?
Your adjustment is following his lead. If he make a decision, then follow his lead. That's pretty simple. You used to hear women say stuff like this. You reading too much in this stuff. What they're really truly saying is they hate the idea of a man being able to discern. They don't like men that can discern with such ease and with such flawlessness. Because you know what that's like? You're looking into their soul. You reading their mind. You being able to know their next move before they make it. Well, let's continue.
I'm in a very powerful place. But a lot of people have taken the difference between money means that I have control. And it does not mean that. Rob doesn't hold the money he makes over me and says, well, I control you. So, Sterling Sage has responded, sorry, babe, that I cut you, but like we said, women need to learn that his his competence has nothing to do with income. There are a lot of high-earning ding-dongs out there. That's fact. And Film Star said, I agree, Sorlin Sage.
Absolutely. Like, okay, how often do you see a manager argue with one of
The subordinate?
their subordinates?
As a manager, I don't have time for that. I'm not doing that.
What would you do?
I'm going to fire them or discipline them. There's going to be some disciplinary action, but I'm not, first of all, I'm not arguing in front of other people. And we're going to sit back and have a discussion. Like, we're not going to do that.
Like that. Okay, so occasionally you will, like in fast food is where I think mostly you see stuff like this, where you'll see a manager arguing with one of their subordinates. It says one or two things. One, that employee is crazy. And two, the manager isn't very good. Because instead of arguing, you should just fire their ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Dudes get to that point eventually where they understand is...
You seen that? Did you see that move she just did? That is hilarious to me, right? Hilarious just in the way of, like, come the fuck on now. Really? Let's replay that back.
Arguing, you should just fire their ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying. Dudes get to that point eventually where they understand.
What the fuck was that? You're now trying to show less? Like, really? Really, the damage is already done. Let's continue, man.
Is we control the relationships. You can't make me be in a relationship with you, Toshiba. It's a crime. You made that movie.
Oh, yes, she did. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And this is where she makes the move to move closer to him. Now, it looks like to me that she's more in the center of the screen. A hell of a lot more than he is. He's off to the side. He's trying to gain some position here.
Find out if you're going to do.
Excuse me, guys, but he's trying to gain some position here.
No more than you can make a woman be in a relationship with a man. But especially again, as y'all dollars get up, y'all like to get in that man space of I'm gonna go find me a man, I'm gonna go pick me a man, and you've already stepped outside of your feminine.
Women should never be choosing. Like, we're not the choosers. We get chosen. Jamaicans have a saying, you pick until you pick shit. Okay? Like, women should be out there. I know. And it's not about having pick-me energy and, oh, Rob, find me, look at me. The reality is when you carry yourself in a manner that man finds is something he wants to be a part of his life, he will come out and get you. You don't need to, yes, you should put yourself in his orbit. That is one thing I will say to ladies. If you want a certain type of man, you should be in that man's orbit. But you should be, let me tell you that if you want to be chosen, ladies in Toronto, there are plenty of bars out there, or anyone across the United States, Canada, wherever. There are plenty if you want a high value, whatever type of man. Where are they hanging out? That's where you should be. And you should not be going with your girlfriends if you're looking to meet a man. And you should not be bringing this wonderful device and doing this while you're at the bar. Your only thing you bring is your wallet and your lip gloss and your keys for your car, or whatever the case might be. You leave the phone in the car and you make yourself present and you speak to the bartender. A man who sees you in that space, again, you're not there, you're not drinking hard liquor, so you're not drinking scotch or any of that.
I don't know about you guys, but the days of meeting women in a bar thinking that you're going to find a wife, come on, man. Like, I don't know how many times I went to the bar, to the club, and I went home the same night fucking the chick. I never left the bar or club thinking to myself, this is marriage material here. If I see you in the bar, I automatically think that you're there dick hunting. If I see a woman in the bar and she's not at home with a man or her man, even if she's with her girls, you can say, well, she's out having a good time. Well, there's plenty of places that women and men can go without going to a bar or a club to have a good time, because those things, those particular places have stigmas to them, right? Right? Am I the only one understanding what I'm understanding here? You know what I'm saying? That is almost equivalent as going to a strip club to look for a date. It's like a man going to a strip club to look for a date. Them women are looking to get paid. If you take them on a date, they're not going to say no because they expect you to pay for dinner. They're expecting you to do something where things are going to be paid for, and maybe they end up getting a big tip at the end of the night aside from the date, the things that you're spending money on. Let's continue.
You're drinking a nice glass of wine or something cute and girly. You're being in your whole feminine, and you're sitting there and you're looking around and you're smiling. So Prince Charlie loves to wear. So in Toronto, there's an area called Yorkville. They've got all kinds of places that you can go. They've got STK. They've got Morton's. They have got the Four Seasons. They have got all kinds of high-end places to find men that hang out there. The Bisha Hotel in Toronto is one of them. It's got 2 restaurants. It's got Cost upstairs and Akira back downstairs. I know these places quite well. I used to go there myself. And you go to these places and you put yourself in a position to be in the orbit of men. But you're not sending a drink to a man. You're not doing that, but you are putting yourself to be seen.
That's all you can really do.
That's all a woman should
You're trying to
do.
put yourself in the right spot. Here's the thing. I'm going to get on that. I want to be up there beside you. That pick me thirsty ass energy. That's basically what that is. That's basically how a man looks at it. That's basically how I see it. And when I get selected for Man of the Year for Watermelon Growers of Arizona, or whatever, and they call me up there, she is not so insecure and thirsty that she's going to run up there with me like we just a fucking rap group or some shit like that. She understands that there's no way I am going to accept that award without acknowledging the person who allowed me to be in a place
Bruh.
to be the watermelon grower that I was to win the fucking shit.
Yeah, see, I don't like his talking point on that, but that's my opinion, okay? But again, men in these days, even as an older man that he is, and maybe he just got gray hair, maybe he's not that old, maybe he's in his late 30s, early 40s, who knows? So when a man got something or he accomplished something, just because you with a woman or you married to a woman, if you come home to that woman every night, if you make good love to that woman, you know, meaningful love to that woman, basically, God, let me put it simply, if you putting the dick on this woman right, and you coming home to her at night and y'all able to have dinner together and conversations together, why is it that you got to explain to other people on the outside of the home of something that you couldn't have done without her giving you the authority to do it? Again, that's a level of simping. Yes, that is a level of simping, because they just got due talking about earlier how she was pointing at this man when the other lady was saying how her man used to, when they was together, how he commands a room. He don't have to ask for respect, he commands respect. Well then, if he's commanding it, why does he got to go up, not saying that he did this, but why do he got to explain and say, well, there is no way that I'm going to accept an award and not tell you, people that if it wasn't for her allowing me, a woman shouldn't have to allow you to do anything, first and foremost. If a woman is allowed, unless it's having sex with her, her body is the one thing that she has full control over. You telling other people about when she let you go to the store or hang out with the boys. Another thing, when women talk about hang out with the boys, that terminology, boys, the guys, maybe. Men, yes. But hanging out with the boys, I'm not a boy. I don't hang out with boys. Boys hang out with boys. I don't hang out with boys. I'm a grown man, right? So, and I say that because there's power in words, guys. And you got to look at, like y'all say, the devil's in the details, right? You got to look at the details and when people say certain things, because what they say is how they view things, right? And for the most part, I know people make jokes and sometimes it's just a joke that's not fully thought out. But even then, like even comedians will tell you, their mind is kind of dark. So somewhere there is a bit of truth. So you got to read into things, even though women don't want you reading into what they say, because you will find truth in what they are saying. They don't want you reading into it because you'll be able to discern through all that talk, them trying to overtalk where they may have overtalked themselves, and you may have heard something they didn't want you to hear. So that's why they constantly be talking and try to overtalk you. You know what I'm saying? So I've learned from mistakes. I've learned from being young. I learned from being immature. I've learned from being in several, being with several women. So these are things you learn. You're not supposed to take what you learn and forget them. You're supposed to take them and utilize them to better yourself, right? And with you bettering yourself, it's going to become obvious by how you walk this life and how you mature and how you talk and move in this world, right? Y'all men got to get over your flesh. That's why y'all are ending up with these lustful ass women that are saying things. Ooh, that made my poom poom jump. By hearing another woman tell you about how her man used to tell her certain things to her. Why would that make your poom poom jump? How you think that makes that man feel? Oh, well, my man is not insecure, so that don't make him feel no type of way. Well, even if it don't make him feel no type of way, it's still a level of respect that you don't supposed to cross as a woman that adores and respects her man. Come on, somebody. You know that church shit that they be saying, huh?
Was about.
Exactly.
And so many times that thirsty and like I gotta attach myself to his hip to keep him to keep close to him. You don't have to do that because when you make yourself valuable to him, he's looking for you. He's like, where'd you go? I was here.
Well, that's a good question, babe. If you were to give people advice, what are the things that I did? Because we can't talk for everybody else. But what are the things? Let me stop there because.
You see how he scratched that ear? That's an annoying question to him. You know why it's an annoying question? You might say, man, that don't mean that, bro. Just because that man did that don't mean that. Bro, y'all obviously don't have the experience. Or obviously y'all just are willingly blind. It's almost the same movement that he made, just his head was up, and I don't think he did the ear thing. He did the eye thing. When she was when the other question she asked him, well, tell me who's the important one in your life, something to that extent. Now this one is, but tell me about me. Let's talk about us. The man don't want to go deep into him and you, because obviously it's something of a bit of annoyance or of a bit of repetition, to whereas he's making these movements, these faces, these eyes, these looks, this movement as there's a bit of irritation. But she's not a man, so maybe she's not catching it.
One of the things that Bob said, if people.
Let's rewind it back a little bit.
What are the things that I did? Because we can't talk for everybody else. But what are the things? Let me stop there because one of the things that Bob said that was like one of the best things I've ever heard when he was like, "You're invaluable to me. You're invaluable to me. You're not irreplaceable." Because I could go out and try. I didn't like that part. I can go out and try and find someone else, but they're never going to be you because you're invaluable. There's no trading you in. There's no trading for better. But what
Y'all women would like to believe there's no trading for better. Look, there's always somebody better than you. Always. Somebody better looking, somebody more money, somebody taller, somebody shorter, somebody stronger. You right? You know, somebody more badass. There's always someone out there that's able to outdo you. There's been greats in all types of sports. Then 10 years, 15 years later, there's always some high school or college kid that can outdo Jordan or, Barry Sanders or Walter Payton or Emmitt Smith or some of the best quarterbacks out there, There's always going to be somebody that can outdo you. That you are replaceable. Everybody is replaceable in this thing called life, in this thing called relationships. Everybody can get replaced, man. Just like if a man go to prison and the woman is madly in love, and he's in there and she thought she was just going to be in there for 5 years, it turned into 10 years, and she waited the 10 years and she found out that it's going to most likely be for life, they turned it into life, she's going to get remarried. He is replaceable. Not saying nobody can be him, right? When somebody dies that was married, they end up getting married again. That means that person got replaced. That doesn't mean that person didn't love you like they loved you when you were here. You know what I mean? Everybody is replaceable. That's like saying that, your love is unconditional. Love is not unconditional. All love is conditional. If you can bring a child into this world, but if this child is trying to hurt you, do harm to you, disrespect you, shoot you, stab you, you're going to take a defensive position. Yeah, you go do your best not to do anything to harm them as much as you can, but everything is conditional. So I made that analogy in regards to condition because conditions has some of the same values that replacement has. You're only not replaceable long as you are able to follow certain instructions that are given. Being able to follow instructions that men give to their women or woman is what make you have an invaluableness to you, right? But if you start going off making your own decisions without him having the last say so, meaning that you honor his decision, you respect it, you adore him. You know what I'm saying? In order for a woman to get to the level, she already has to adore the man, right? If a woman doesn't adore the man, that's a word that's not used anymore. That's why women are not talking about love. That's why you heard earlier in this video that I love you is not a 3-letter phrase they're looking for anymore. They want to know I got you. Through thick and thin, better words. Not old, for being maimed or not losing anything. Do you got me? That's all they want. They don't give a damn about if you love me, nigga. Do you got me? You know what I'm saying? Let's continue.
One of the things that you would say to a woman that I did if they were looking at trying to be in a man's life in that way and have that influence that made me invaluable. Not the kiss.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's what do you really want her for?
That's a loaded question too. Now he has to go deep into his thought. What can I say? Because I got to go to sleep with this woman. Because after this camera go off, after this video is done, if I don't answer this in the way that is not going to make me have to hear 20 questions, or why didn't I say this, or why did you say that, or why you had to say it like that, you should explain yourself better, why you made it come off like that. So when women start to implement themselves in their relationship, in a general conversation as they're having about submission, is submission power, then you bring a different dynamic to it, because now things that you how you view in the general sense, you don't maybe necessarily view for your personal relationship. Let's continue.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think every woman, first off, you gotta be real with yourself. You know what I mean? And if you, and this is no disrespect to people who say didn't finish high school, say, but a person with a GED probably shouldn't set their standards for a mate at an MIT graduate.
I agree.
There's such a discrepancy that, like, of course, we see why you're attracted to the MIT graduate, but why is the MIT graduate going to be attracted to you other than you got that wow?
You're gonna go into a long thing.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Like, what did I do personally?
What?
Now you guys see what I'm saying? He don't want to get into a conversation about their life per se, personally. She wants to hear about what do you like about me? What do you love about me? It's almost give me a feel of a relationship that's definitely under 5 years. But who knows? They might have been together 10, 15, 20 years. But typically you hear that from a woman that's insecure. Let's continue.
Did was even before you had physically arrived, which is you let me determine who you were, so that then when we
Again, here you go with her allowing him. Her let him do something. That terminology, when a man uses that, he's giving away his strength. There's power in words. And when you go to saying stuff like a woman let you, look, man, you only got one mama, you have one daddy, you had parents. Once you have gotten from under their roof and became your own man, paying your own bills, no one can make you or let you do anything unless you allow them to make you or allow them to let you. You allow them the position of authorship over you. And if you allow a woman to have an authoritative position over you, that's saying something about you as a man. Let's continue.
met and it aligned, I was already
Rewind a little bit.
let me what you did other than you got that wow.
You're gonna go into a long thing.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Like, what did I do personally?
What you did was even before you had physically arrived, which is you let me determine who you were, so that then when we met and it aligned, I was already down that road. You can't manipulate a guy into a relationship. You can't. Why did y'all watch the Ultimatum? Because we just finished it up, and again, it doesn't always work out in the best way, because the ultimatum, ultimatums come from a place with low leverage. So that's why they're almost stupid.
Because you don't have a lot of leverage.
You don't have no leverage in the first place.
So what you're saying, because sometimes you go into Rob talk, is I showed up as myself. I was genuinely me from the beginning to the end, and here we are almost 2 years later, and I'm still me. There wasn't
Hold on, I didn't
any
get that.
discrepancy. I was genuinely me from the beginning to the end, and here we are almost 2 years later, and I'm still.
See, like I told you, I knew this was a relatively new relationship. She said almost 2 years later, because you could tell her talking points of trying to get him to acknowledge what he likes about her, what he thinks about her, trying to get him to give her a seal of approval to the people that's watching this video. She's insecure, and that's a dangerous position to be in as a man, to be with a woman that's have an insecurity like that. Again, I don't know these people. I wish them the best. If he's happy and she's happy, then beautiful. Be together for eternity. But I'm just using this video, and this was just a random video, and I wanted to do something different in regards to spotting red flags. So this was a random video picked out. I didn't choose them because I knew them or because I knew what they was talking about. I knew it was based on relationships. I had no idea if that was boyfriend and girlfriend, brother and sister, you know, the father or daughter, or cousins. I didn't know, or friends. Shit, how was I supposed to know? But it was just based on the talking points of the title of their video. I was going to use it for red flags. Even better video to use to be able to spot red flags based on their body movements, different gestures, their facial expressions, and what they are actually saying, and some things that they may say that contradicts what they have said earlier. I'm going to end it there, guys. I think we got everything that we need in regards to being able to spot red flags. You guys leave in the comments anything that you may have noticed, any thing that you feel that you may agree with in regards to I said, or any disagreements. Regardless, is to come to a common ground on how this can help aid you and educate one another into making better decisions and better choices in picking your soulmate, your wife, your fiance, or whoever, right? But I think really in these times and days that we should be really, as men, be focusing on God, because trying to focus on who you're going to marry next or who you're going to be laying down in the bed next, having sex with, is something that seemed to me is not really conducive to really connecting with God at this time, because everything is upside down in this world that we live in, and relationships just bring a lot more difficulty and distraction from focusing on God and being obedient to Him. But nevertheless, it's not a sin to be in a relationship. It's not a sin, want children. It's not a sin to have sex, So do your thing, and hopefully you was edified and you was able to retain something or take something away from what my video has provided for you. Again, this is Shacko with Supermen Talk, and I'll be back, all right?